Good day, and welcome to your jury service with the 6th Judicial Circuit Court in and for Pinellas County. You have been summoned by random selection through your driver's license or state identification card. The 6th Circuit includes both Pinellas and Pasco counties. The judges and all officers of this court will do their best to make your experience interesting and productive. We appreciate that your time away from work and family is valuable, but so is your contribution to our justice system as a juror. Therefore, in the following minutes, we will examine your role as a potential juror, what you can expect during your time serving as a potential juror, and what you should know if you are selected to serve as a juror in a criminal or civil trial. The right to trial by a jury of our peers is guaranteed by the 6th Amendment of our United States Constitution. This process has steadily evolved over the 230-plus years since our founders signed this historic document. A vital part of our Constitution was the creation of a system of checks and balances. This system ensures that our courts are independent, wherein decisions of judges are based upon the rule of law without undue interference from external pressures. Jury trials are held in 3 locations in Pinellas County: at the St. Petersburg Judicial Building, at the Pinellas County Justice Center on 49th Street, and at 315 Court Street in downtown Clearwater. Juries are called to sit on trials involving criminal and civil cases. Criminal cases can be divided into misdemeanors like shoplifting, which are heard at the county court level, or felonies like murder, which are heard at the circuit court level. Civil cases can be heard in county and circuit court and usually involve a dispute over something of value. In many states, as many as 12 citizens are called to form a jury. However, in Florida, 6 citizens will serve on most juries. The exceptions are for first-degree murder or for property condemnation proceedings. Then, 12 persons will be selected. Your service as a potential juror began when you received your summons. Your summons identified your reporting date, time, and location, as well as the reasons for which you could request excusal from reporting to jury service. If you still have some questions about your service, please contact your jury coordinator and they will address your concerns. During your service, relax with your fellow citizens while you wait to be called to a courtroom for jury selection. Your jury coordinator will inform you where restrooms, vending machines, and other amenities are located. The Florida legislature has mandated that our courts use the one-day or one-trial system of jury selection. That means, whether or not you are called to serve on a jury, your service for that day will be recognized as fulfilling your obligation for 1 year. The average length of a jury trial is 1.5 to 2 days. However, some trials do last longer. The actual length of each trial will be discussed during the selection process. If the length of the trial creates a hardship, you will be given an opportunity to discuss this with the judge. If you are called to join a jury panel for a trial, your group will be directed into a courtroom where the selection process for the trial will begin.
All rise. Circuit Court in and for Pinellas.
As your group assembles in the courtroom, you will be introduced to the judge and officers of the court involved in the trial for which you are being considered as a juror. In civil and criminal cases, the presiding judge oversees the progress of the trial and resolves issues of evidence and questions of law. Among the other courtroom personnel are representatives of the constitutional offices of sheriff, state attorney, public defender, and clerk of the circuit court and comptroller. Bailiffs are assigned to each judge and are Pinellas County deputy sheriffs representing Sheriff Bob Gualtieri, a constitutional officer. In criminal trials, the prosecuting attorney represents the constitutional office of the state attorney, Bruce Bartlett. In criminal cases where the defendant cannot afford a private defense attorney, a public defender is present and represents 6th Circuit Public Defender Sarah Mallow. A deputy clerk is also present in the courtroom during the trial. The deputy clerk represents the constitutional office of the clerk of the circuit court and comptroller, Ken Burke. The deputy clerk is responsible for swearing in jurors, witnesses, and recording the submission of evidence, among other duties. These constitutional officers and their staff are dedicated to assisting you in your role as a juror. A court reporter may also be present in the courtroom and is an officer of the court. The court reporter is charged with recording and preserving the record of the trial. Now to the voir dire, which in French means to speak the truth. This is the process in which you and the members of your jury panel will be questioned by the attorneys representing both sides in the criminal or civil case. They will ask questions about your background, employment, family, or personal interests, and then form an opinion about whether or not to select you to sit on the jury. You are encouraged to respond openly and honestly to the questions directed to you. The attorneys involved have a series of challenges they may use to eliminate some potential jurors. Remember, in most trials, only 6 jurors and perhaps 1 or 2 alternates will be selected. Not being selected is not a reflection upon your worthiness or sincerity to serve. If you are not selected for one trial, there's a chance you may be called to another jury panel during your period of service, and the process of voir dire will be repeated for that separate trial. Again, should you not be selected for a trial, your service will still be noted. Business dress is the correct attire for jury service. On the rare occasion that a jury is sequestered, all potential jurors will be given the appropriate time to make necessary arrangements to be away from work and family in order to serve. If serving as a sequestered juror is too great a hardship, the presiding judge may excuse you. If you are selected as a juror, you will be issued a juror's badge which must be worn at all times, including meal breaks or while around the courthouse. The badge puts others on notice that you cannot be approached to discuss the trial. You may not initiate discussions about the trial, not even to family members. Violations of this rule must be reported to the judge or bailiff. Your job as a juror and finder of fact now really begins. Whether you're selected for a criminal or civil trial, you are charged to listen carefully to the testimony provided by the witnesses. Look at the evidence submitted. Your responsibility as a finder of fact is to weigh the testimony and evidence submitted in an impartial manner. Remember that the opening and closing statements are not evidence. Listen to the instructions from the judge. The judge will inform you about procedures and the law. The judge will instruct you on how you should conduct yourself outside of the courtroom. These instructions are to ensure the proper progress of the trial and to avoid issues that could result in a mistrial, which can be costly in time and money. The bailiff is your point of contact if you have any questions or concerns for the court, or if you're having trouble hearing the testimony, seeing the evidence, or any aspect of the proceedings. Please raise your hand and the bailiff will assist you. A bench conference is a discussion to which jurors are generally not privy. A bench conference between the judge and the attorneys usually involves an issue of law and can take place in the courtroom rather than take time to recess the trial. As a juror, you will hear everything you need to make your decision in open court. As for your personal comfort, rest assured that you will have ample opportunities during trial recesses for a comfort break, to stretch your legs, or to enjoy a meal. Remember, you have an obligation not to discuss the trial during those breaks. Upon the conclusion of the trial, you and your fellow jurors will receive your deliberating instructions from the judge, and your panel will begin discussions on a verdict. A jury foreman will be selected, and during these discussions, all members are encouraged to maintain an open mind, review the evidence, form an opinion, then vote in accordance with the judge's instructions on the law. Again, attention will be given to juror comfort, meals, and other needs during this time. Once the jury reaches a verdict, the bailiff will notify the judge, and the verdict will be read in open court. Upon the conclusion of your service, you are free to go with the thanks and appreciation of the judge, all those who were involved in the trial, and your fellow citizens of this county and state. Jury service can be the most valuable and rewarding public service that you perform. It is a profoundly serious responsibility to be involved in deliberations with fellow citizens that can affect the life, rights, freedoms, and finances of another human being. Today we are practicing a principle that benefits ours as well as future generations, a solemn responsibility entrusted to us by generations of our forebears, the right to a trial by a jury of our peers. Thank you for answering the call to jury service.
I would like to stress a few points about technology in the courts before you find out whether you will serve on a jury. Jurors must make their decisions based exclusively on the evidence and testimony presented during the trial. Even now, as prospective jurors, you must obey certain rules to ensure that that happens. Under no circumstances are you to look up the case in question on the internet or research the case in any way. Under no circumstances are you to watch any TV coverage or read any newspaper articles about the case. In addition, from this moment forward, you must not discuss the case with anyone, not with your spouse, significant other, child, parent, or any of your fellow prospective jurors, until you have been either excused from jury duty or you have been selected as a juror and have begun deliberations. To be clear, you cannot discuss the case with other jurors until you have begun deliberations in the jury room. We now live in the age of technology, the age of smartphones, tablets, and laptops, and that folks use these and other devices to stay in touch with family and friends, among other things. But do not use them to communicate about the case. Don't tweet, post, blog, message, or email about the case. You may inform folks that you have been selected as a juror and how long the case may take, but you cannot give out any information about the case, including the people involved in the case. What's at stake? Our constitutional rights. Everyone is entitled to a fair and impartial trial before a jury of his or her peers. And the only way we can make sure such a trial takes place is to make sure jurors make their decisions based only on the evidence and testimony in court. What happens if a juror researches a case online during a trial? A mistrial may be ordered and the case would have to be tried again. The prosecutors and defense attorney would have to prepare and proceed to trial all over again. And a new jury would have to be selected too. All of this at great cost to you, the taxpayer. Again, don't research the case online. Don't discuss it in person, online, or on the telephone. If you are selected to be a juror, you must make your decision based on the testimony and evidence you are presented inside the courtroom. Thank you.